The following program was paid for by Real Estate Radio Network. The hosts are not an employee of WMTR or its parent company, Greater Media. The views and opinions expressed on the Credit Pros on Real Estate Radio New Jersey are not necessarily those of the staff and management of WMTR. Station management has not investigated the claims made in financial service spots that may air during this program. As always, it is advisable to consult a professional before making a major financial decision. You're listening to the Credit Pros on Real Estate Radio New Jersey on 1250 AM WMTR. Now, your hosts, local credit experts Damon DiCrescenzo and attorney Jason Kaplan.
Good morning, Northern New Jersey. Welcome to this post-apocalyptic Sunday morning. No Jets, no football, but you're here with Real Estate Radio. I'm Jason Kaplan, attorney from the Credit Pros. Damon, say hello.
Hello, and thank you, Jason. I wanted to thank everyone out there, and you specifically, the person that's listening. For those who don't know, the Credit Pros and the Real Estate Radio Network is dedicated to building New Jersey's housing and credit markets. With every market, there are problems, there are solutions, and there are huge opportunities. And you need some trusted advice. And that's what I like to think that Jason and I provide here each and every week. That's our message, and we deliver it Sunday, 7 to 8 a.m. right here on 1250 a.m. If you have any questions or if you have any credit concerns, I want to always remind you, you can call us off the air. The number is 973-771-5118. Again, 973-771-5118. Or you can always visit us on the web at creditrepair.to. Jason, how'd you like the snow, buddy?
Oh, my God. I'm originally from Miami, Florida, and I don't like it at all. It's so cold, and I fall when I walk to the train station.
You fall usually anyway. You know, I was thinking about something that, and we actually had this conversation just a little while ago. Everyone on my block, and I live in Staten Island, everyone on my block has a snowblower. And I'm the only putz out there shoveling, breaking my back. And I'm thinking to myself that I won't get a snowblower because I like to consider myself a Miami person. And that I'm just temporarily visiting Staten Island, and that eventually I'll go back to my home sweet home in Miami. And I think that if I buy that snowblower, that's my anchor here. It's my ball and chain, and I'll forever be a New York / Staten Island snow-blowing, pushing putz.
Well, that might be true, but I also share an office space with you, and you were crying like a little girl on Thursday and Friday about how sore you are and about how you can't move your muscles and You're not young anymore.
No, you're right. I'm not.
And you are getting a little large, to be honest.
Okay, so, and it is good exercise. I have to agree. But at the end of the day, I don't know if I can bring myself. It's like, you know, buying a truck with snow chains on it. You know forever that you're going to have that truck with snow chains on it, and you can't go drive that in summertime weather.
I think it's more equivalent to buying a car with an 8-track in it than chains. You could always take the chains off.
Perhaps. And I think that if it snows one more time, I'm going to cave, and I'm going to go buy the snowblower, and I'm going to succumb to forever being a New Yorker. So we have some really fun things to talk about this week, some specific information on how you are going to make a lot of money in New Jersey, New York real estate. Some fantastic things have been going on. Some new changes are going on out there also. We also have some fantastic true or false questions. I bet you didn't know some of the things that we're going to go over, and I bet you're going to learn a lot and hopefully save some money. But the first thing that we wanted to talk about to you today was some scams that are on the rise. We were happy to read an article just the other day, and it pertained to a situation that we've been seeing our clients go through. And it's a new type of scam. It's a Nigeria scam of the 21st century. And for those who don't know what a Nigeria scam is, it's a whole nother ball of wax. But Jason, why don't you talk about what this article says and what's been going on?
Well, we have some experience in our office because we have a lot of clients, and every time they get a call from a bill collector, they let us know. And occasionally we get in contact with these scam bill collectors. And I thought they were more Indian, like Pakistani or maybe even Afghanistan or India itself. judging from their accent, but it actually hit the mainstream media today. Payday loan collection scams are on the rise. So a bill collector told Susan Purnell to get ready. In 2 hours, she'd be arrested. She faced 6 years in jail. Her landlord would evict her family also, and all over a payday loan for $200. So she basically got off the phone. She was crying hysterically. These people called 5 times a day. She even had the police over, and at one point, he started calling why the police were over the house. The police officer picked up the phone, demanded that the call stop, and the fake caller threatened to kill the police officer.
I love that. I love this part too. The collector, speaking in a thick Indian accent, claimed he was President Obama, calling from the White House to urge Penny to pay her non-existent debt. Once he also called and he said that he was calling from Walmart. So Barack Obama calling from Walmart.
Well, didn't you, Damon, I heard you yelling from your office. I mean, this was a couple months ago, but didn't you get a call from the Bureau of Investigative Affairs?
Right. So if you listen to this program, you know that I have a passion for arguing with collection agencies. I think that they are the scum of the earth, and any opportunity I have to get on the phone with one of these creeps to go to bat for one of my clients, I'm going to do it. Now, this is something of a whole new animal because these companies, well, this one in particular, didn't really even own a debt to collect on. Rather, they were calling my client to try to collect on money that they didn't know.
And wasn't it based on a database, though? Like they take databases so they know exactly who's taking payday loans out. And that's kind of the kind of information that you can just buy from the credit bureaus.
Right. And we talked last week about the breach of data and what happens when your data gets breached. But here is this person in obviously another country. And I know it's terrible to say, but I can smell the smells in the room where he was working through the phone. Like you hear chickens clucking and roosters, and they're probably sitting, on chicken crates. And as soon as I spoke with this person, he told me he was Thomas Jones in an accent I can't do from the Federal Bureau of Collections. And I said, "What's the Federal Bureau of Collections?" "The FBI, stupid." And he called me stupid, and then told me that he was going to kill me. And that my client owed the money, and there was nothing he could do. He's going to lock me up, and he's going to lock the other person up. Now, the obvious thing to me is that when someone's speaking like that, they're doing so, number one, against the law, and number two, it's a scam. Because no company in their right mind who is a debt collector, and there are legitimate ones throughout, would allow someone to call and say these types of things. It is so grossly against the law that it would never be allowed. So I am speaking with this person knowing that they're breaking the law. And the problem is my client who got this phone call had no idea. He thought that perhaps he owed this money. And what he told me, the kicker is, I just paid this guy $1,200 last week, and he's calling me again. So it's obvious again that this is a scam among scams. And you need to be careful. You need to be warned.
There was another article out last week where a collection company, and I disagree with Damon in a sense that it's so outrageously illegal that they wouldn't do it, because you see experiences all the time. I think there's an Arrow collection out of Texas just got busted for it, where they were hiring like ex-cons to collect debt, and they would get phone calls saying they're going to come and kill you, and they actually, I think, called up people of ethnicity, and they would say, "Hey, good morning, N-word, this is your wake-up alarm, call me back and we need the $500 or we're going to kill you." Like literally ethnic slurs of every race and gender, and they got busted. And the problem was they were hiring ex-cons directly out of jail. That was like their work release job. I guess they didn't really care too much.
If you're just tuning in, we're talking about some of the nasty things that collection agencies and now scammers are trying to do to you. And if you have any questions, or if you want to know how you can stop collection agencies from calling you immediately, pick up the phone and give us a call. Our number is 973-771-5118. Again, 973-771-5118, or on the web at creditrepair.to.
The original creditors, you typically cannot stop from calling you. They have a right. So unless you change your number or don't answer the phone, Ford Motor Company can call you for the debt that you owe. But if you're dealing with a third-party collection company, all you have to do is give them a cease and desist notice.
What is this? Wait a second. Tell our listeners what a cease and desist, Mr. Attorney. What is a cease and desist notice?
Well, cease and desist, the definition of to cease and desist something is to stop. So you can send them a cease and desist letter, and the language is not necessarily what's extremely important. What's important is that it says in the letter that you no longer wish to be contacted by this company, or if they contact you, they can only contact you through the mail, and you don't wish to talk or negotiate, and you want them to stop calling you or calling your place of work. And that kind of notification to a third-party collection company is enough to make them stop under a law that's called the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, which is the law that governs all credit repair companies. They can't call you between the hour. They can only call you between the hours of 9 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning to 9 o'clock at night. They can never threaten you to go to jail or any illegalities because there's no debtor's prison. And obviously that's something that the legal system has to deal with. So you're not going to go to jail for a $200 debt. This isn't like the medieval times in the Tower of London. You're not
right. Let's talk about these collection agency dirtbags for a minute. And I hope you don't mind me throwing around that language because I think that they're dirtbags. How much, we're sitting in the office right now in the studio with Aaron Fragnito from Equity One. And let me just pull you in on a question. And this is just a random question, okay? How much do you think a collection agency on average buys a consumer debt for on the dollar? 30 cents, 20 cents on the dollar? How much do you think? How much would you think?
I would imagine about 30 cents on the dollar.
Awesome. How about a half a penny? How about a half a penny to a penny? So when you have these animals, as I like to call them, buying your debt for a half a penny to a penny, if they collect on 10% of the money that they have outstanding, they are big bucks. They're in the black.
It's a good business model.
Sure it is. It's a great business model. But the problem is it's a business model that really wants scum to work for it because you're pushing people around and it's a commission-based business. So all of these companies are out there buying debt for half a penny on the dollar. Check this out. What do? They'll buy debt that's 10 and 20 years old, 30 years old. And they'll send out letters, and this is really, really cheap, not even a half a cent on the dollar. They'll send out letters to all of the people that they owe debt to, that owe them this debt, knowing that the statute of limitations has passed, and knowing that people get freaked out by letters, and you can guarantee that a portion of them are going to send in a check. It's just human nature. Some people consider themselves good, upstanding human beings. And when they get a bill in the mail, they like to think that they're going to pay it.
And that's completely illegal in my estimation, by the way, as well, because if you do not have the legal power to collect a debt, you cannot send out a letter threatening to collect on the debt because you don't have any recourse. There's no way to collect the money. That's one way that you catch these people in violations of the law. So I'll give you an example. I'll let you know one of Damon and my secrets.
I don't know.
Either way, there's a secret that we do, and it's called the scared consumer tactic, where what you do is you get a letter in the mail for a collection company, and you respond back with a panicked letter. Oh my God, I am so sorry. I didn't know I owe you money. I'm so scared to go to court. I don't want to go to court. How much do I owe you? I don't want to hire an attorney. I don't want to see you in court. Please just let me know what I owe you so you can go away because I'm scared of court. And they send you a letter saying, this is what you owe us. You're going to court, because now they're the big bad wolf. They want to threaten you now because they know you're going to pay them. And you know what? It's illegal. They can't send that to you because it's past the statute of limitations. They have no legal ability to sue you or to collect from you.
And then guess what? Bam! Collection is gone. Bam! You sue them, you win.
That's exactly what Damon and I do.
How about that, huh? That's a good strategy. Pick up the phone and call Jason. Listen, if you have a question, if you want Jason, an expert, credit certified FICO professional, credit attorney, to go to bat for you, pick up the phone and call him now, 973-771-5118, or visit him on the web at creditrepair.to. Some other fun things about collection agencies. I find that a lot of them aren't even licensed to collect the debt in the state that they're collecting the debt in. Well, how about that? Is that legal? You get a collection call from ABC Collection Agency, and then you call your state and find out that they have no record of this company. The Attorney General needs to know about it. The Better Business Bureau should know about it. There's things that you should do to be able to complain.
More importantly, their bonding companies should know about it. And their insurance companies should know about it.
Why?
Because they need a bond and insurance to operate. They're not very easy to get, and they're not very happy when they lose it. So if there's violations of law, the bonding and the insurance company are responsible. So as soon as they start getting complaints, they're not going to be too thrilled with it. So it's nice to, let them know that you might be contacting their bonding and insurance agent as well if you don't get the proper licensing requirements. And you know what usually happens on 30-year-old debt or 5-year-old debt or Capital One debt that's very aggressive in marketing, so it's very cheap for them to buy also? It usually just disappears because they'd rather eat the half cent than risk dealing with someone who's so
nuts,
aggressive, savvy.
That's an awesome point. Let's talk about that for a second. That's a great point. It is more worth it for these collection agencies to let your debt go than have to put up with you if the scariest thing, an informed consumer. That is what the collection agencies hate. If you know just enough to be dangerous, just enough to break their horns, enough to think about writing a response, because the half a cent that they paid for it, they would rather churn and burn and move on to the next debt and probably sell your debt to the next collection agency, which will call you. But at the end of the day, they're getting rid of it, and that should be your goal. So that's a great point.
Exactly. And it's like anything. When you go to buy a car, what do the car dealers hate? An informed purchaser. Anyone that can break into their bottom line is really going to affect their way that they perform and making their commissions and their money.
That's right. So the point of this is, if you're listening to this and you're getting a phone call from a collection agency, do not be freaked out. Do not take any junk from them. You are an informed consumer. Now that you've listened to this radio program, now that you've listened to myself and Jason, you are now an informed consumer. You don't have to stand for it. You don't have to take it, and you can fight back. That's what we do. And thanks for listening to the Credit Pros on Real Estate Radio Network. I want you to stick around. We have some awesome information on how you are going to make more money this year in the New Jersey real estate market than you ever have in the past. We have a wonderful guest. Aaron's with us from Equity One, a whiz kid. Again, you listen to the Credit Pros on Real Estate Radio Network. Our number is 973-771-5118. Again, 973-771-5118, or on the web at creditrepair.to. Stick around after the break.
For all your credit problems, concerns, or questions, call the show's off-air number at 973-771-5118 and speak to the hosts of the show, Damon DiCrescenzo and attorney Jason Kaplan, directly. 973-771-5118. This program is brought to you by the Real Estate Radio Network. Visit realestateradio.us for more info. That's realestateradio.us.
Hello, Jason Kaplan here, host of the Credit Pros on Real Estate Radio New Jersey. I'm thrilled that I get to speak to you every week and bring you the truth about your credit. A lot of stuff you hear in the news is just flat out wrong. If you want the inside knowledge about what's going on with your credit, that's what I'm here for. Give me a call at 973-771-5118. That's 973-771-5118. Whether you're looking to buy a home, get a job, apply for car insurance, your credit's the most important factor in these decisions. I can help you make an educated decision about what's going on and what's best for you and your family. It's easy. I give you the real facts and you decide what to do from there. Just give me a call. I'm here to help. 973-771-5118. That's 973-771-5118. Or visit us online at creditrepair.to. Thank you for listening, and we'll be back from the break soon.
Jason, tell me what the Credit Pros on Real Estate Radio New Jersey is all about.
We're helping to dispel all the myths and misconceptions about credit. Myself and my partner, Damon DiCrescenzo, are certified credit counselors and credit experts. I'm an attorney, and what we do is we help you understand what goes into making a credit score, how the negative items impact your credit score, how the lack of positive items can also impact your score. There are so many parts to the Fair Isaac credit scoring model that people don't understand. I'm here to unlock those keys.
So what are some of the things you're helping the people of New Jersey accomplish with their credit?
Well, when it comes to doing anything in your life, buying a car, getting insurance, getting a job, passing security clearance if you're in the military, everything comes down to your credit score. So what happens is if people are not watching their credit score, if they don't know how to solve the problems that they're facing with their credit, they're going to have issues. So we need to help them deal with all of these issues.
So who out there listening right now should call you today?
Anyone that looks for a job, that's living and breathing out there in New Jersey. What happens is credit scores affect everything like I just mentioned. So if you're concerned, confused, if you have a particular question about a particular circumstance, just give me and Damon a call. Our number is 973-771-5118.
It's just that simple. If you want the free credit advice in New Jersey, call attorney Jason Kaplan and the Credit Pros right now at 973-771-5118. That's 973-771-5118. For all your credit problems, concerns, or questions, call the show's off-air number at 973-771-5118 and speak to the hosts of the show, Damon DiCrescenzo and attorney Jason Kaplan directly. 973-771-5118.